Someone recently asked me if I will ever smoke weed again, and I can say with a high degree of certainty the answer is probably no, but you can never say never. My name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of Addiction Mindset recovery coaching programs where we help people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed today's video. In this video, I'm going to break down 8 reasons for you why you'll probably never catch me smoking weed again. Kicking it off with reason number 1, fear. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, fear is probably an underlying reason behind each of these factors why I say I'll never smoke weed again. But predominantly, I have a fear of getting sick. For those of you who are new to the channel, I started to develop symptoms of psychosis and cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. So I was getting nausea, I was experiencing extreme weight loss, I felt like I was going to vomit every time I ate food, my body hurt, my muscles hurt. I was experiencing symptoms of CHS, and for those of you guys that don't know, if you smoke weed again, even years later, it can flare up those symptoms, and I'm really terrified of that. That's something I never want to experience again. So fear of my health. I don't want to put my health in jeopardy. I don't want to put my health in risk. Reason number 2, because I value my time now. So when you're struggling with active addiction, one of the things that I tell people is addiction does not value your time. And if you don't value your time, time will never value you. And when I was sitting around getting high all day long, I had no value for my time. I could spend hours on end watching TV, mindlessly scrolling social media, which may eventually lead into mindlessly scrolling adult media content. It was such a massive waste of time for me. And I never want to put myself in a position again or risk being in a position again where I don't value my time, because truly I cherish it so much now in my kind of sobriety journey here. Reason number 3, for mental health purposes. Towards the end of my weed smoking journey, I was experiencing panic attacks and psychosis. Weed was not calming me down. Weed was not alleviating any amount of anxiety. It was creating a significant amount more of anxiety. And if you consider the fact that on a daily basis, I was experiencing withdrawals from weed in between my periods of use, it makes a lot of sense that I had significantly heightened anxiety. I'll be honest, I don't know if you've ever experienced a panic attack before, but it makes day-to-day functioning extremely challenging, especially for a guy who considers himself to be super social, someone who relies on his social skills and communication skills with others as a profession. I would never want to risk going back to that state of mental health again. And that's a really big deal because when I was stuck in the active addiction of weed, of THC usage, I thought it was actually benefiting my mental health. But when I stopped and I took a step back and I could see a bird's eye view of what was actually going on in my life, it became very, very obvious to me that THC was significantly damaging my mental health and not helping it. Reason number 4, and this is a reason that I think I can attribute a lot of my longer term sobriety to, is my hobbies. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm really into golf, I'm really into marksmanship, shooting guns, and I'm really into YouTube. I'm really into video equipment, I'm really into microphone equipment, my hobbies. Since I've started to value my time more, I've picked up new interests. And I've picked up things that challenge me, things that give me a struggle. Finding a new microphone, working hard to afford a new camera, working hard to buy a new firearm, whatever it may be. Ammunition is expensive as heck these days. I've worked super hard to develop my skill sets in each of these categories of my life. And I've had a lot of fun struggling to get better at these things. So I've purposely gone out of my way to pick hobbies that challenge me, hobbies that push me each and every day to get better, and hobbies that have very clear goals that I can set and define. Of course, you could take exercise and weightlifting as a hobby as well, I suppose. I think my hobbies I would never want to risk giving those up because I'm truly having fun, enjoying pursuing each of those activities. And I think that's a major reason why I've avoided relapse thus far. Number 5, my relationships. I've worked really hard on my relationship first and foremost with myself. I spent many years of my life destroying myself through the course of active addiction. And I've worked extremely hard through business coaching, relationship coaching, seeing a licensed therapist, and all these things to care about myself again. So that's thing number 1. I never want to damage the relationship that I have with myself again. Reason number 2 is after I worked on myself, I've developed great relationships. Like I'm engaged now to a beautiful woman. I've really done well reconnecting with my family. And guys, I didn't have a perfect family. Parents are divorced. I had a great childhood, but we, like everyone, we had problems. And I've worked really, really hard to have good, healthy relationships with each individual in my family. And I would never want to risk that. And I can guarantee you that addiction never valued your relationships because addiction wants all of your time, all of your energy, all of your focus. It's an obsession, and it doesn't allow any room for anything or anyone else in your life. So I would never want to risk those things. Money. This is reason number 6. This is a really big one, guys. When I was struggling with THC addiction, I was spending a lot of my money on weed. I was spending a lot of my money on other substances as well. But my money, I've really learned how to value my money. And as I said, now that I value the time that it took me to make that money, I've really learned new ways of how to use that money and turn it into more money. So what do I do with my money from YouTube? I buy new filming equipment, hopefully to drive more ad revenue and be able to provide you guys with a better viewer experience, right? The two things go hand in hand. I've picked up a cryptocurrency hobby where I'm really into following some of the cryptocurrencies. I've taken time to learn and read about stocks. So when I'm not sitting around blazed at night, I'm sitting around reading and educating myself on what's going on in the world and looking for opportunities where I can have my money that I worked so hard to earn potentially turn into more money to provide me with a secure future. And guys, I'll say something else about money too. The financial stress is crippling. And when I was struggling with active THC addiction, I was under a significant amount of financial stress. And that stress would put me in a loop. It would make me anxious. And then I'd get depressed. And then I would feel like I needed to smoke weed to get rid of the anxiety and get rid of the depression. When in reality, the weed was the central glue that was keeping me in this cycle of stress, anxiety, depression, repeated use. Stress, anxiety, depression, and repeated use. It's amazing when you step back from addiction and you get a moment and you can look back and you can assess the situation that you were once in. And when you really can see that with a true sense of clarity, why would I ever want to put myself in that situation again? There's nothing worth it. There's no craving to be in that place again. I don't loathe where I was in that point in my life. In fact, I never want to be that person again. Reason number 7, fun. It's awesome being able to wake up and have fun genuinely without having to be high. It's awesome just being able to go have a good time without having to worry about how am I going to get high to enhance this experience or enjoy this experience. I think one of the biggest things about THC addiction for me was it robbed me of the joy that I had in my life. It took the joy out of experiences. I often say this with nicotine addiction as well. If you win a soccer game or you win a large sporting event or you accomplish a big goal, you get a promotion at work or you land a new relationship, you should be able to get joy out of that experience without having to enhance it with a substance. And just being able to truly enjoy things for what they are, I think is invaluable. Reason number 8, I have put a lot of systems in place and a lot of fail safes in place to assure myself sobriety from THC long term. What do I mean by that? I have gone above and beyond to create a lifestyle for myself where I would have to tear down so many positive aspects of it in order to go back to that addictive state, in order to go back to that person that I no longer am today. I've changed so much about myself and the things that I do in the last 3 to 4 years that the person from a long time ago would be unrecognizable. I've changed my relationships. I've changed my relationship with myself. I've learned new coping mechanisms. I've had therapy. I've had business coaching. I am so motivated to keep going forward in this lifestyle, in this direction. And I am so fearful of going back to what once was. All I try to do each day is separate myself further and further away from that person that I was in active addiction, while enjoying building myself in the person that I am throughout this sobriety and recovery journey that I've been on. And that's the real reasons why I will never smoke cannabis again. Or at least I hope I'll never do it again. I hope this video helps you guys out. For those of you who are in longer term recovery, or for those of you who are looking forward to some things on your sobriety journey, I think this video provides you with some experiences that everyone has the capability of experiencing when they break that cycle of active THC addiction. Why don't you guys follow me into the next video where I talk more about THC and mental health? I'll see you guys there.